they can treat them like however. And that's not right. You're still human beings at the end of the day. Yes, they committed a crime. Yes, they committed a sin. In the eyes of God, all sins are in the eyes of the Lord. So should he just abolish us and abandon us from the pearly gates of heaven because we did one wrong thing? And I don't think we should treat inmates like that either. So that's all I'm saying.
And we also have to be very clear about the fact that MLK, Martin Luther King himself, Mr.
Oh yeah, he got locked up. He was an inmate. He had an MA number.
Okay.
He had an MA number.
Nelson Mandela. Okay.
MA number.
And sometimes it's so funny because sometimes in order to make change, there are many people in our history that have become inmates. Okay.
Absolutely.
So we really have to actually think about that and not say, everybody is not guilty of the same crime. You know what I mean? Everybody's not a killer. Everybody's not a murderer. Some people just fell down and, got into a situation, fell on hard times, which doesn't excuse everything, but at the same time, there are people who protest and then they get locked up. And now you have a record. And so now when you go and try to get a job, you're in trouble. You can't. So we have to remember that about our society. I will say this, though. There are currently existing programs for helping inmates do this, that, and the other.
Oh, yeah.
Now, what it's going to do to make, you know what I mean? Because also we have to change the climate.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to be able, no matter how much schooling he gives you, he's not going to be able to make somebody give you a job. You know what I mean? So we actually have to do something to change the minds of these business owners as well. So now are we on the same level with, affirmative action?
But speaking of the whole business owners and things like that, there are. And so what I'm hoping that he does, because I actually used to work with a lot of inmates when I was back in education with Project Empowerment and Department of Employment Services. And also there's a lot of jobs that actually get tax write-off for hiring ex-felons. So my thing is I want him to take a deeper dive into that.
Exactly.
It's like great to propel the program, but there's already programs that are existing that are not efficient. So what are you doing for those existing programs to make them more efficient? That's great. You get to bring them home. You bring them home, and that's great. Now what? And so that was my thing. You bring him home after years. Yes, he was in there reading law books, and that's great. It's now, can he become a lawyer? No, he can never become a lawyer because there's still judicial things that will prevent him from doing that. So those are the things that we need to change. We need to change the laws within the laws. Mm-hmm. And that's what we need to look in, not the bigger picture. You need to look in, open up the picture, look at the box and read that shit. And sit there and say, okay, this is the law for this. You need to change all that shit. In order to make an effective change, you have to understand where the change is actually coming from and where it's actually needed. And it's needed more so when you get into the actual employment process part, because they can go in and get education. Anybody can go to University of Maryland, get
absolutely,
ACT, as a matter and take out a financial aid loan. But once you get all the education and you spend all that money, you still can't get a job because those laws are still going to prohibit you. If as a felon, you cannot even vote.
Yes.
Therefore, let's talk about all that.
Yeah.
So if you can't even vote as a felon, great, you brought me home. Give me the right to vote.
Right.
Change the laws within the laws before you try to start identifying things like bringing somebody home after 30 years. Great. Now what? It's his right. It's his rights reinstated. Talk about that type of stuff.
Right.
That the stuff that actually will make change, because at the end of the day, those inmates deserve a right to vote, because they are still citizens. And when they come home and they do get these jobs, they still have to pay taxes.
And to be honest, a lot of them will be the ones that are more likely to spend their time figuring out whether or not some of these laws that they're trying to propose actually make sense or would be helpful, because they are firsthand on something that affected them. And when usually you are in a position where you are firsthand with the fuckery, I'm sorry for lack of a better word, with the fuckery, you pay attention a little bit more. Just like we pay attention to the laws that personally affect us. You know what I mean? Oh, you're trying to take away voting rights from black people. You're trying to do this. You're trying to do that. You got gentrification going on. That's when we start paying attention, because it's positively and negatively affecting us on a personal level. So of course, they're coming home, they will probably be the first one in the books for all of these things.
And the thing, and they know the law better than anybody because they had years and years to read it.
Absolutely.
So, but see, the thing about it is what they try to do is they want to put people in boxes, because they know that these inmates know these laws. They know that, that they're probably a lot more educated than a lot of us because they had nothing but time and opportunity to educate themselves. But we cannot allow them to elevate over a certain point because that would be too right.
Right.
So we have to honestly, I'm great. I'm happy he's doing these first step initiatives, but I want to see him actually break the law for the law. And that's all I'm saying. So, I don't know.
I mean, I just think that some change.
It has to be changed. It definitely has to be changed. And it starts, honestly, you got to go back to the basics because they got programs. Like, they got all this stuff. Now what? The system right now is designed for you to fail because when you come home, it's hard for you to get a job. You talking about somebody who was king pinning it up, used to find things in life. They come home and they can't get a job. What you think they're going to do? They're not going to settle for Walmart and McDonald's because they're used to having the nicer things in life. They're only going to do that, but for so long, where they start wanting that fast money, and it's like a drug. It's an itch. You're addicted to it. You can get addicted to fast money. And so you got to put them in position to be able to be as successful as everybody else. And don't be judged for the rest of their life because they made a mistake.
Right. You got to set people up for success. And then that does entail fixing the things around the whole situation. Because somebody's going to always say, oh, well, we're going to do this when inmates come out. But let's be clear. There are already programs out there for inmates. They're already, and don't forget, you went in there and you came out with an education. Now, and just like you said, can I use this on the street now?
Exactly.
Am I going to say?
You go and get your DED high school diploma. You come home and get a job.
Exactly. Or those diploma? I mean, the diploma is recognized, but other things, other programs and things like that.
Is not.
Mm-hmm. So, that, I mean, we're going to have to table that, but that's going to be an ongoing thing.
Oh, yeah.
That's one of those emoji eyes, we're going to look and see. We will see.
That's where you got to wait and see what's going to happen. That's where what did you say earlier? That's the perception, the intuition, or whatever you said. We
have to see what the reality is.
You got to see what the reality is going to be with that, and then for all those who are coming home and trying to, do better, don't let any weapon formed against you will not prosper. You know what I'm saying? Stay firm to what you believe in. And anybody can make it nowadays. You just gotta stay focused, And
also it depends on what your perception of making it actually is.
That's what I was gonna say. Anybody, nowadays, you know what I'm saying? I just was watching a movie the other day. I went to the movies and saw a second act, and that movie actually had a really powerful message behind it. It's with Jennifer Lopez in it, and she was talking about how you have people out here who have college degrees and are getting better jobs than people who don't have college degrees but have more experience. And her thing is everybody couldn't afford to go to college, but yet I still have the experience. Why is X, Y, and Z getting a better job than me? This is the same thing with the inmates. You might have more experience just because of the background you have. You will not get the job, and that's the shit that got to change.
Absolutely.
If you really want to create change, that's how you do it. But all we can do is just see and worry about the wall. So go get a job over there by immigration. That's going to help. Go work with the contractors. That's going to help build the wall because they putting in $1 billion, so it's enough money for everybody.
Right. Maybe then that's what we'll do.
Go apply for that, and then if he tries to not hire you,
construction will be open.
Exactly. If he says you're not hired because of your background, you say say Trump said the First Start Initiative program, and then you make sure you write his administrative and let them know that they won't hire you because you got a background.
And we're gonna have to look that up too because I want to see the fine writing. You know what I mean? Would you say call it the first what?
What? For a First Start program. First
Start.
Something like
First
that.
Start? Or Fresh Start?
Fresh Start, First Start, First Step, or something like that.
Okay, well first we'll have to figure out what the name is. Then we'll go figure out what. Because sometimes we really got to take a look at these laws, honey. When I say, you got
to read the fine print.
You got to read the fine print. Like, read the whole thing. Whereas and forthwith and all of that crap that they put in there to say, oh, yeah, what we're going to do is make another program just like the other programs that nobody's actually going to do anything about it. I think it's just too much stuff, like, on the Comcast can't take it, y'all. I strongly believe. I don't know if it. I don't know if it's really YouTube or if it's Comcast or what's going on. You know, because all of our other feeds are working. YouTube is the only one that's really being affected.
We keep talking about all this administration,
which is irritating. But hey, you know, we gotta keep on.
Like collaborate.
You gotta persevere. You gotta persevere. They were. I restarted us on YouTube to see, you know, what's what. Oh no, that's, you know what?
Well, we'll have to keep tabling that. We'll talk about that later. Yes. We'll definitely talk about that because honestly, that's going to be an ongoing project until either one or two things. Either he gets impeached or we get a new president. So, you know, we'll see. Moving on. So now this part of the show is where we talk about the Suga Honey Iced Tea, and we're not with the shits. So, for me this week. I don't know who is out here who's actually watching sports. If anybody's watching sports can really identify with what I'm saying. You probably gonna tell me to shut the fuck up. But I honestly think they need to start redoing these damn contracts for these damn athletes because this is making me mad. Like John Wall plays for the Wizards, you know, and I love me some John Wall. He's a little cocky, you know, but he was out this season, and now that he had an unrelated work injury, which means he got hurt at home,
right?
He now is going to be out for the whole next year. Mm-hmm. But yeah,
brothers and sisters, I want a similar contract. I want something that says. Even if
I get hurt, walk across the street, I'ma still, because guess what? My job might pay taxes and do whatever, somewhat. If you get injured and it's not work related, you can still go with disabilities, but you don't get workers' comp because it's nothing to do with the job.
No, that's how that's set up.
You know,
that's why you gotta have affluent.
You gotta have short-term disability.
Okay.
But yeah, you got these athletes.
You gotta take care of your damn self.
Who, like, I just don't think it's right. Like, I honestly think they have got to redo these contracts because I already think we pay athletes way too much money for entertainment.
That's what I'm saying. That is my Suga Honey Iced Tea. There's no way you
should be getting paid more than
a teacher,
a doctor,
doctors.
A lawyer, people who are actually impactful, people who actually risk their lives.
But that is America's pastime.
Exactly. That's it. I just think that we have got to put things back into perspective and put things that are important. You want to spend quadrillion dollars on
we are nuts as a society.
We are.
I mean, and then we want to gate Kaepernick because he's actually using, like Andy, he's using his platform to try to exact some change.
Now he can't get a job.
Much needed. Now he can't get a job. Are you freaking serious? No, we're out here for them. Like, it's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate. And you got so I'll put that up for the Suga Honey Iced Tea because I'm still upset about Kaepernick's situation.
Oh yeah, that is honestly, that whole situation is that if you have a perfectly able quarterback out here able to work. And yet still you're not hiring because he's choosing to stand up for his rights, not doing anything wrong, but you're willing to pay Alex Smith. He's getting paid and he will never play the game again. John Wall also getting paid and he won't play for a year and a half. Like, let's look at what is really going on. Like that whole thing, I think
I'm trying to tell you, the system itself and the way we do shit is the actual fuckery. It's Suga Honey Iced Tea. No matter how you slice it or dice it. I'm gonna tell you something. Most of the things, mind you, football, basketball, great. You know what I'm saying? America needs a pastime. But we pour so much money into those things and so much into schools, into our teachers. And so the teachers are going out and buying things for the classrooms themselves.
Yeah.
Like, how is this beneficial to our future?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Different districts of schools don't get certain things. You know what I mean? And then people mad when, you know, don't even get started on the school system. So don't get me started on teachers. No doctors would ever be without teachers. I don't get how
or they making more money. You know that, I mean, obviously an athlete makes way more money than a
Yeah.
You know, if you're a plastic surgeon, then maybe you might make something, but just don't be a regular cardiologist. Because you're not going to make much money. You know, you're out here saving lives, and somebody who is dribbling. And don't get me wrong, I love my sports, and so I'm a hypocrite. I'm a hypocrite. And I'm gonna tell you one other thing. I was mad that I watched the goddamn Super Bowl because you know I really wanted to stand from having it, but I wanted to see who's gonna win that game.
And that right there is exactly what. And
I said, darn it, I just, you know what, I could have did without this damn game.
But you had to watch it.
I watched it because I was like, let me see what they're going to do. Let me see Tom Brady. And this shit was whack, 13-3, the lowest scoring game. Like, come on now. The goddamn halftime show is whack as shit. You know, I now believe that Adam Levine's gay. I really believe that now. Like, I'm 100% sold on that. Travis Scott was out there for like one line. Fucking guy from Outkast was out there from one line, and then they finally and then the game was some shit.
I mean, I don't think the votes have been the same since Janet whipped out a nipple. I mean, I think that's the last time I heard somebody actually speak controversially about it.
Yeah, because it wasn't nothing.
I mean, I know Beyonce went out there with her little thing.
They said look, we can't talk. I got trouble about Beyonce. So.
No, listen, I'm not going against no Beehive.
I said, "Oh, that's what you want. That's when you gonna cut the shit, Ebony. You ain't know about that." I said, "Well, she's just an overpaid prostitute." Sorry, I think she is. I'm sorry.
Well, who is she prostituting?
Like, herself.
Who's she fucking?
You don't have to have sex to prostitute.
Oh,
you could be a prostitute, do anything. She's selling herself for fans.
Some of them in the music industry
are prostitutes.
Okay. All right. As long as it's everybody and it's not just Beyonce, because you know about the head Beehive. But I say she's an overpaid prostitute. Well, she does her thing. Only thing I can say about Beyonce, I don't really care about people who are, don't care about me. So as soon as she wants to pick up SipsTea the Show,
then she's not then Beyonce, I'm a paid prostitute.
Right. As soon as we on that level and B is talking to me, personally, I'm going to care. But up until then, I really don't care about those who don't really care about us on this molecular level. But I will say this. I like her grind and I like her work ethic. Everything that I see says she be up in there like she's a perfectionist. Y'all know how y'all Virgos are. She's a perfectionist, and I don't think, even if she's overpaid for whatever she does, she's in there like really, really getting down to the nitty-gritty.
I feel like for her, and I don't even because I love
you hear this.
I feel like she's somebody that the world's on. It's like they force Cardi B on us. It's like they're trying to force. What's the girl's name that just had the baby? Naj or whatever her name is. Nij, whatever her name is. Queen, something like that. Like, I feel like the world tries to force these people on us and don't allow us to create our
Oh, that's how the music industry is.
And that's what I mean.
And they will all change you into who they want you to be.
Exactly.
And you don't get to
actually. That's why I say
actually.
that. So there is basis on why I say that, because there's a lot more talented people out there. Like, for instance, that I think should have gotten more notoriety, such as LegaCee. I think LegaCee should have gotten more notoriety, or Marsha Ambrose.
Oh, there's a lot.
So that's what I mean by that. Like, I feel like she's just overpaid. She was forced for us to like her because, quite frankly, I think Kelly Rowland can sing better.
In the music industry, just like the football and the sports industry.
Exactly.
And this is what we want to do. We are using you to entertain the people.
Exactly.
And then this is, and
so if you don't look the part, you're blackballed. Basically,
absolutely.
If you don't look the part, you won't get to a certain level.
Because let me tell you guys, if you know me, you know that music is not my life. I am a lover of music in that I think music moves people. Music creates a mood. Music creates a vibe. There are songs that speak to you. There are things resonate because music is sound. You know what I'm saying? And sounds and vibrations and things like that. So I am into it to that degree. But I will never tell you, oh, this person sings that and this person. I don't care. I don't care enough to really be so deeply involved in that's just on my mental level. But I know that, just like you said, because the actual industry is pushing people on, there are so many actual artists that we miss out on.
Mm-hmm.
So these artists are super great right here, just like CeeLo Soul and people that we're meeting nowadays. Eb Deceleb and I are just meeting in our travels, can sing like sing like sang, things like that have so much talent, but we may not see them on the national stage because the music industry is not.
They don't have the right look.
They're not creating that for them. Yeah, remember,
they're not marketable.
They're not marketable in the way that you want them marketable. Yet still they can go out there and turn out a show. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So it's a whole big thing with that. But shout out to all the artists that are out there trying to do their thing, especially those who have dared to actually break free from the cutter and give us something new. Mm-hmm. And that is usually something that kind of changes the tide where as it pertains to music, mm-hmm. people who do their own thing change the tide of music. You know what I'm saying? Every time we've had a musical shift, mm-hmm. it's because an artist actually gave us that shift. They gave us a new sound and say, oh, you know what? That sounds great. Let me try to, that's okay. Right now, everything's on the same. And that's what we want right now. But it's going to take somebody else to break that mold.
That's like when T-Pain came out with the whole
auto-tune.
When the auto-tune. Yeah. And everybody was doing the auto-tune thing, So I just think that, we got to get back to the basics with things. But actually, I just think we need to honestly get back to our principles. We need to figure out what our principles actually were, because I think it got lost in translation. I really do. Like, I'm looking at what things are right now. I'm like, is this really where we're going? Is this really where we're headed? You know what I'm saying? So I just definitely think we have to get back to our basics. We have to get back to what we know is right. We have to get back to what we believe in. We got to get back into empowering each other. So even to her point, when you had mentioned Lala Milan, like a friend of mine, a real good friend of mine, Top Cop, shout out to her as well. She's out here doing her thing. I can't wait to get her on the show. It's her birthday tomorrow. So, but shout out to her. And she was one of the first people that I saw had posted it. And then her message behind it was like, it's so crazy how we in life, we forget to do the simplest things. We get to believe in each other. We forget to, we're so busy trying to tear each other down and trying to, prevent each other from getting to the next place, that we forget the bare basics. You know what I'm saying? So I just think that's what's going on in America. Like, we got to get back to the basics. Like, let's get back to where there was no social media.
Right. Hello.
Where you had to call me. You couldn't just text me.
Yeah.
You wrote me a letter and you mailed it off. Like, when's the last time you did stuff like that? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I just think we got to get back to the basics of life.
Right. And establishing connections with each other that are a little bit more real and tangible than social media. Yeah. I'm thankful for social media because it does allow to check in on people that I wouldn't necessarily have, constant contact with, but I can say, oh, okay, I know it's okay because they still post on social media. But in that, that just because it's all suns and, sunshine and roses on social media does not mean that that's what that person is experiencing in their real life. So then it also creates a facade of that person is okay when they really might not be,
But social media is there to paint a picture for you to know. Like I could have posted pictures all week, this happy butterflies, but internally I'm going through some shit. You know what I'm saying? So social media is designed for you to know what you want people to think who you are and what you're doing. But internally you could be going through a whole lot because ain't nobody gonna post a sad moment. Most people just post when they're happy.
And I think it's important that we kind of start to do something because that also contributes to other people feeling like their life or whatever they're going through is only specific to them. And it makes you feel worse because it's like nobody else is suffering, because nobody looks like they're suffering on social media. But meanwhile, you back at the ranch drowning in it. But, we just got to do our part and we got to stop the crabs in a barrel situation. And we have to know the reason why we feel this way, the reason why we forget to reach out to each other, it's not even just social media. It's because we have to keep remembering and remind ourselves we are being set up. Okay, we are being set up, and that's part of the message that Lala Milan had actually said. Like, it's not us creating that distance between each other. It is society creating that distance. It's the industry that makes these artists feel like it's the industry telling artists that there's not enough space for you, saying no, yes, yes, no. You know what I mean? Back when I was, into modeling a lot, I remember sending my pictures, and they told me you have to send pictures to agencies in different seasons. You have to continue to submit because they're going to tell you no, but that's really only no. You're not like to see today, because what I want to see today is this, and what you are today is that. But that doesn't mean that tomorrow we might not be looking for just you, exactly you. So we got to get beyond looking for approval from other people and outside sources. And we have to know for ourselves that whatever it is that you're bringing to the table is valuable. You know what I'm saying? And we have to start getting back into the point where we value each other, because I think a lot of times we got into this YOLO and we got into the song to say no new friends and all this other stuff. And those things are toxic. No new friends, that works on some level. Like, okay, I don't need no new people in my life. But how often do you have falling out with people that are your old friends? Eb Deceleb, if you met no one new and no one was able to bring you to a new perspective in your life, who lost out? You see what I'm saying? Imagine all the people that we met over this year doing SipsTea the Show. I feel like what I have to, on that part though, like I categorize people. You can categorize, and that's not saying friends. Let me just take that out, because I'm not saying friends, but associates or people. Like, open up your circle a little bit enough to let somebody in, because it might be networking. But what if, okay, so the person that you're networking becomes a friend of yours in the midst of networking, and I get, we can use that that word as lightly or as heavily as you want. You know what I'm saying? And I guess it depends on what your definition of a friend is. Is this somebody that you call, or is it somebody, I guess that's different with the ramifications of whatever you say is to you. But sometimes opening yourself to network with somebody, because even us, I think together when we first started Just Loud strengthened our friendship. You know what I mean? But had there not been that, or had there not been a willingness to do it, like, oh no, there's no need for you to come talk to me, because we'll never be. I think now, as for me, I have to sit there and say, like, for me, if I call you, it's more so a networking or, an associate, because see, you can't go out here calling everybody your friend. Because see, I'm just saying at one point we were associates. Oh yeah. You know what I mean? So if you were not available, because we say no new friends, if you were not available for a friendship because you were not open to that, how do we cultivate new relationships? Because we're so busy saying, you know what, nah, we'll just, I guess we can network the whole time, but both of us being available to that. Right now, we're not available to having other people enter our circle. And 9 times out of 10, it's only really because you don't trust them no more. Like, nobody wants to open up. Nobody wants to trust. Nobody wants to, there is. I think that's the spirit here, but I'm this as well. Yes, you may be burned. Yes, you may be burned. Anytime you open yourself up, think about all your relationships. Every time you get into a relationship with somebody, you are opening yourself up to be burned. Period. I don't care what you say. Anytime you decide you're going to have a boyfriend or girlfriend, you are opening yourself up to be burned. You won't do it for a friend, though. You'll just do it because you love somebody. Why does that person get a pass? I think for me, and I honestly, like, as I get older and I get wiser, I look at things so differently in life. And I look at things and I try to figure out, how is this going to serve a purpose in my life? Like, whether it's an associate, like I said, it goes back to me, I categorize things. I am one of those people that have trust issues. So no, I don't trust everybody. I hardly trust anybody. I kind of,
you know, probably should just be in a box by myself some damn way, because that's probably, you know, I only can really trust what I see. Probably that's just it. But I know that you have to learn to categorize things, because people out here trusting way too easily, out here calling everybody their friend when they don't have their back for real. And then, you know, and at the end of the day, whatever you call it, perception, intuition, whatever.
What's your definition of a friendship?
It goes back to that definition of a friendship, and it goes back to making sure that you're safe and you're protecting yourself in that box and in that space. Because if you go out here and you go out here categorizing everybody, quote unquote, or this or that, you know, you're gonna get, whether it's a relationship. That's why even now in my life, like I'm not quick to hop in a relationship. I'm not quick to give up to potentially be hurt by anybody. I'm not quick to do that anymore. It's like, you got to be a hell of a person for me to call you a friend, and you got to be a hell of a person for me to say I'm in a relationship with you, because I don't give up the two very easily. So I have to categorize. If I don't categorize things in my life, I'll have expectations of things. So what I do, because I categorize things, this is, oh, you're just this, you're just this, you're just this, you're just this. If you don't start doing that and you start colliding everything, you'll fuck yourself at the end of the day. You'll fuck yourself. You got to start looking at people for who they are, what they are, and then putting them in a box. And then you say, this is that. Okay, this person I can do this with. This person I can do this with. This person I can do this with. This is somebody who's a friend, because I don't really do friends. I do sisters. I have sisters. You know, this is my sister right here. GemDTwin is my sister. My girlfriend, that's my girlfriend. I don't get into all that shit. Like back in the day, I used to be trying to be, oh yeah, that friend, that's my friend. My ex-girlfriend of 5 years told me a long time ago, Ebony, you'll be lucky to leave this world with 3 people you call your true friend.
Absolutely.
And if that shit ain't the truth, I tell you, when you go through real life shit, all that friend shit goes out the window. So you network and you can do this and you can do that, but you got to be mindful on who you put in your circle, on who you call a friend.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So that's just me.
What everything that you just said is true. And I know personally firsthand, I've been burned by friends, you know, or people that I thought were my friends. I personally choose to be a little bit more open and a little bit more discerning of, okay, my thing with friends, because I think, you know, we all have our little, you know, categories or whatever. But my friends are the people that can hurt me. My friends are people that I actually care about. My friends are the ones, if y'all see GemDTwin, you're not gonna catch a bitch crying. Or I will cry out if something is emotional. I cry when people are winning out here in these streets. You out here win. I will watch American Idol and see somebody accomplish their dreams, and I will drop a tear. I will cry at a movie. People generally strike that emotion in me unless I am close to them, because I really don't give a fuck. Like, I'm not going to get emotionally involved in everybody's stuff. Now, my friends, I will get emotionally involved in your stuff. As that does come with a little bit of, you know, you got to be wary and you got to be cautious of who, for me at least, you know, especially Gemini. So I have to be, you know, Geminis are like really all the way in there. You know what I'm saying? Loyal to a fault with some stuff. Like, okay, but I still am very careful about that whole no new friends, because I will never cut myself. Because I don't know who's supposed to be out there. They're supposed to be. I feel like the Lord brings people into your life.
I think that when you meet a good person, like, you know.
You
like,
generally know. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. You know, like, if you know who that person's supposed to be, like, and when I met you, I knew that I didn't know where the friendship was going to go, but I knew, I was like, okay, this is somebody who's going to be in my life for some time. And so, you know, when that person is in your life, you know that purpose when that person is in your life, but you also know when somebody means you know good, right, or when this is where this person belongs. Like, and there's a certain people, like even at my job, I have certain people, this is where you belong. I know that. This is where you belong. You don't belong here with me.
Right.
You don't belong in this space.
But we're not going to go there.
We're cool, but we ain't, you know what I'm saying? And so, and to get into, you know, I don't know. I just think
I always pray for the spirit of discernment.
Oh, yes.
And that's what it is. Like, You know, from an early age, you put on that armor of God and say, look, Lord, you know, you lead me to which way I'm supposed to go, but you actually ask for the spirit of discernment. And my spirit of discernment says, you know, I can keep my arms open. You know what I mean? I've been hurt. I've been, you know, a whole lot of things have happened, but I never want to be so closed off that I miss out on my own blessings. So, but yeah, that's just one of those things. Y'all know we are over that hour.
I know we get over the hour. I'm sorry, y'all, but also too, we mentioned a lot of things, but we forgot to mention this. Happy Black History Month.
Absolutely.
You know,
we did it early last week, though.
Yeah, we did. It was a day early, a couple days early. But Happy Black History Month. Everything that's going on, it's like it's trying to take us away from what this month is. And we already have the shortest month in the year. So Happy Black History Month. So we're going to, as SipsTea the Show, I'm going to at least charge myself with starting to post Black history articles and things that are going on. I kind of got away from social media a little bit this week just due to some mental things I'm going through, but definitely want to get back into posting some articles and things like that about some people out here, Black History Month out here who is moving, shaking, or who have been moving and shaking the past, present, or even in the future. So happy Black History Month on that. I think that
happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
We love y'all.
We love you guys. You know, don't eat too many chocolates. But like I said earlier, Valentine's Day should be every day. So don't put that gift one day a year.
Absolutely.
You let them appreciate you every single day because I tell my girlfriend all the time, like, I am the Valentine of the year. Okay?
I mean, unfortunately, and I guess
I'm a Leo.
I think of Lord,
you're gonna celebrate me every day of the week. I don't want no flowers on no. Like, don't get me shit on Valentine's Day because that's when everybody else getting their shit. I want you to give me shit 24/7, 365. When I want to wake up, I want to know that, damn, you love me just as much as I want to sleep, and then I want to bed. So I always told my girlfriend, don't get me shit on Valentine's Day. Get me something on Friday.
Just because, okay,
yeah.
you special. So, it's okay. Poor baby, poor little girlfriend. She's just confused, but it's okay. I mean, but that is very, very true. You know, I want to say, because this month is the month that we celebrate love and that we, you know, talk about love. I don't discount Valentine's Day only because I do agree. Show me every day. 365 days you have an opportunity to take a step towards love or show somebody and people in your life that you care about them, that they're loved and all that other stuff. And don't miss an opportunity because you never know what can happen. Some of us might not make it to February 14th, and that is very real. But just remember that since it is our month of love, okay, I also want to say on, you know, I love Eb Deceleb. This is my boo. I love you guys for tuning in and watching. Take the opportunity to tell each other, you know, how you feel, that you love each other, that you know, whatever it is, promote positivity. You know what I'm saying? Some peace and love this month. And only because it's this month, you know, 365, yes. But on February 14th, the reason I say you may definitely get my ass some shit is because I'm not fitting to be the only one standing around here. What? Why is everybody else getting their love donations and I'm not? Like, what? Hold on. You can say in club. You can definitely. You know,
even if you don't have nobody, if you want to celebrate a friend, y'all can go out together.
Recognize on a national day and that Friday. Like, why can't I get both? I mean, give me one rose on one day and the rest on the, I don't know. But I always tell, because, you know, it's a debate. And I think that's what we're going to talk about with affinity. And we're going to have to go with this next week. But there are a lot of people who protest Valentine's Day. And especially guys that I know personally. They, you know, they're like, look, I do this 365, blah, 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 blah. But why would you just stand on the one day where everybody in the world is talking about, you know, this is your national recognition day. So don't take a stand on that day. Don't take a stand on that day. You know what I'm saying? But you know, we can bring some breakfast or something.
And you know, never mind, I'm hating. Let me shut up. Because I was going to say, don't get proposed on Valentine's. Like, people are just so typical, but I'm hating. Get proposed when you get proposed to. But because I told my girlfriend that too, don't propose on a day everybody celebrating Valentine's Day. Right. It's not gonna be special to me. Do it on a Wednesday just because it's Wednesday. Do it on a Tuesday. Don't do it on Wednesday because that's You can do it on
right. Just end it or something.
You know, but no, you guys definitely sending out lots of love as always. Happy Valentine's Day. Enjoy your week, and we will see you next week, same time, hopefully, but definitely the same day.
All right, love you, little light
out.
Bam.
Because
you know that's what we want to talk about. That